to open your microphone there and introduce yourself, perhaps?
Yes, hello, everybody. Hello, Mr. Keshe. My name is Angelo Daul. I'm from Keshe Foundation, Romania. And regarding your teaching about a year ago, your public teaching, you said about and learned us about the plasma liquids at that time. And in some point, you bring a Magrav unit and a big bucket, and you said, okay, if you understand now the plasma liquids, now is the time to take your Magrav unit and put it in a big bucket and fill it up with all the plasma liquids you have and see what it will be. Okay, so I did this because in this 1 year I saw nobody to do this, so I did it. And it is a normally homemade Magrav power unit, but I disassembled it and I put it together and I immersed it in all the plasma liquids I have at that time at home. And my question is, I have a lot of questions, but my purpose doing this was to go above, to go further in this understanding, because I think, Mr. Keshe, you make this announcement to do this with some purpose, and I think this purpose is it's not about energy, it is about something else. And my purpose with this was and is to create an environment, because I think, because the interactions of all the plasma liquids, that's like a dielectric in this case, will make a huge plasma field. And I think this plasma field can be very useful in our home for it's like a second sun, if I can say so, for a peaceful environment, for feeding, maybe for elevating our souls in a plasmatic way, not in the way you mentioned it some minutes ago, I understand. And yes, these are my questions. I did this for a peaceful application, but maybe you can go further with your explanations about the thinking to submerge Magrav unit in plasma liquid. Why to do this, and what we can expect about all of it. In that teaching, you not mentioned if we have to plug it in or not. So I did this in a way that the connections are above the water, and so it is safe. And at this time it is plugged in. But I don't know how you think about it and how you want to do this. So please, if you can give us some explanations about it, I will be very thankful. Thank you.
There are a couple of things. First of all, have you connected it to the main?
Yes, yesterday.
And what is the outcome?
In voltage?
Yeah.
200.
Have you blown up the fuse?
No, because all the connections are above the water, so just the unit goes through the water.
You mean the stacker unit in the water?
Yes, all the 3 stacker units are in the plasma liquid, but the connections and the capacitors are above. You can see it's above the water.
It is a very interesting point, and this was one of the reasons I suggested this. I remember that time. If you do such a thing with a normal wire and submerge units in the water, we know what it does. it blows a fuse, you have an explosion or whatever. Where this does not happen. Because you put the GANs material in it, you have replicated the operation of the work of the human body. We don't short circuit. There is a step into this you have to be very careful with, is that you have put this in a GANs water and you put the thing inside another GANs tank. The GANs waters you should use for the two has to be different. You have to have a gradient of the flow towards your coils. You will find, if it's done correctly, you create a very powerful system. In the second container at the bottom of the plastic, if you place a fair amount of GANs itself, not just the liquid, you create an energy source. It's literally a plasmatic battery. If you look at it, and if you have studied, or if I can show part of the solar system books, which is book number 4, you see this process. Nanomaterial in conjunction with the plasma leading to creation of massive amount of energy. You will receive two kinds of energy. Depends how you tap into it. One is as normal as you plug your system in, is a 220, 110 simultaneously. But if you redirect the energy flow, you will find a massive power supply. In your 3-stacker, I reckon something about 40 kilowatt. 100 kilowatts should be easy. But you have to understand what you do and what you're doing with it. In the process with the other coils, like the Magrav system, we put a limited fixed amount of power on the coil. Now with the GANs and what you put in there, there is no limitation. It's how you collect it. If you show this to any man of physics, electrical engineers, electronic engineers, they tell you you're absolutely crazy. How can you put a wire inside the water and you still get power out of it? That's why I said, have you plugged it in to confirm there is no short circuit, even though you're working, operating in a liquid environment. You have to create a mixture GANs that there is an inflow. You have to create an energy gap that is strong enough that it goes to the center column. Where you've got that piece has to be lower in a strength compared to the liquid, that it creates the liquid trying to feed it, that the energy crosses the coil and it delivers the energy. The choice of the GANs and the GANs material will have a direct effect in how you can harvest energy from this system. There are papers done in 1998, 1999 by the Russian scientists looking at the core of the solar system, and the evaluation is exactly as you see. You are not pouring water in, you are pouring a GANs water, so everything is in a state of the transition of the energy. You have to choose where you put the yellow stone. Has to be a very heavy, attracting light GANs. I'm going to show you on if I can use the. Can you give me an option to be able to? Okay, I've got it.
You should be able to annotate right on the screen there.
Yeah, I'm trying to do. It's just okay. You see, you need a very high. Let me choose a better color that you can see. Use a black. You use a very high density, high strength GANs here. You use in between here, and you use a very much weaker. So let's say you choose CO2 plus zinc oxide plus other heavy elements in 1. In 2, you choose element of CO2 and let's say copper and something else. In center, you only choose CO2. You can use both gases or liquid gases. The direction of the flow from the stronger to the weaker will cross your boundary of the energy and will deliver energy into the nano layers, which at the end you can extract. With the present coils, we nano coat and then gans coat. With this, what you don't see is a dynamic flow. These fields here are very dynamic. So they create a rotation that the energy keeps on gathering. The more you use the system, the higher powers you can get. If you do it properly, you can go easily to 100 kilowatts. And these wires will take it. They are strong enough because you don't use the wires, you're using the nano coating. Your operation outside, filters and capacitors are not necessary. The problem you'll have will be your capacitors. You have to remove those capacitors because they have elements of the paper and the others, and they cannot take high voltage, high current.
I understand. Just mention it about what you are saying. If I understand correct, I don't need to Gans coat these coils in this case.
No, because the material you have is against you put the plasma liquid. You see, you look at the material and just you see water. But in reality, your GANS material carries certain amounts. If you don't filter it the way we do in the factory, you, what do you call it? You have some gases floating in there. Arman did a test. Was it how long ago, Arman? Last year you did a test where we put pure plasma water, and when you put it in the bowl, there was some, we could see some residual of GANS in the boundary. When you spin it the high, and you could see with pure, even purified, you still, unless you purify the way we do with filtering, you have some gases there. So that's the process of what do you call energy supply. In the bottom bucket, you can add easily any kind of gases that you make it heavier to do, but the thing is the whole energy will sit at the bottom. If you can hang columns of gases. We bought something very interesting recently with Caroline. It's a spiral glass. And what is interesting with the spiral glass, the whole GANS stays equal among more or less the whole spiral. I think it's about 8 to 10 turn on it, and the GANS doesn't go all the way to the bottom. When I got it, I thought this will be like as you fill up a tube, will go to the bottom, but the adhesion to the tube, it shows that the GANS stays right across the whole of the tube. So you have a balanced distribution. There is a picture of it. If Caroline is online and she can take it, we can see it. Caroline, are you in the background? Hello?
Yes, what would you like, please?
Do you know the bottles of the water with the spiral coil? Can you take a picture and send it to me?
The ones I showed downstairs.
Yeah, the ones here with the water in it.
Okay, to where do you want me to send it, please?
Send it to Rick, and the Rick can add it, we show it. You, for a system like this, you need that kind of operation, that equal energy is transferred to the coils.
Yes, and Mr. Keshe, exactly at that point, I want to add something. After I filled up this whole bucket with the GANS waters, uh, about 2 hours after, the liquid plasma colors a little bit. It became goldish
Is it
somehow.
bluish? What color?
No, it is gold color,
Gold color.
yellow brownish.
This is the copper. Yeah, this is the copper which comes from the atomic structure, which is nano-sized, but hasn't become. It still is an atomic condition of the copper. We see this quite often, or becomes green sometimes. But that's normal.
But what is it?
Can I ask? Can I ask you something so I can send it in one go? Sorry to disturb you. It is already gone into process. You want one of the process as well, Mr. Keshe?
No, just the ones which are on the table.
Okay.
The ones which are on the table, because you see it's very interesting. It doesn't follow the law of physics to go all the way to the bottom. It stays equally distributed.
Yeah, and this is what I saw in this case. This liquid plasma have a color, but normally if this color comes from the GANS coating from the coils, because they are GANS coated in gradients, but with a very, very light GANS, so almost nothing stays on the coils. But in a very interesting way, nothing settles down in these bottles. So about 3 days, it stays stable. It has this color, but nothing on the bottom. And if it would be GANS, in the time normally it has to settle down, but it doesn't settle down. So it's interesting.
No, the reason is because it's interesting. If you understand the process, it'll be much more interesting. This is the way in our body our atomic structure is held. All the iron doesn't go to our foot, and all the zinc doesn't go to our foot. In a GANS state, everything is everything, literally what you have created is a total virtual GANS state, total virtual plasmatic condition. So what you see in suspended condition is a copper which is in a way gravitational magnetically spacing itself. What you see is correct, and it is that's because your bucket is full of GANS, so you are already what do you call it, in a GANS state. Positioning comes into operation. This is how our body stands up. The water is there, and the atomic molecular structure positions itself, and it gives us height, it gives us thickness. But you have a fixed copper condition. If you, for example, had different rings of copper, let's say nickel, and anything else, you would have started seeing a structure building up. Marco did this about 2 years ago. That's how we built the brain cells. We added, we mixed it, and then you create a structure, solid structure.
Yes, thank you. And about the fields.
Pardon?
About the fields they are creating in this case. Can we benefit near energy?
Yes.
From
yes.
these fields? Because I think it is a very, very mixed plasma field.
It's not a mix. You have with a structure like this, you should be able to achieve certain physical changes and certain emotional changes, because all the elements in there is not copper, it's some zinc too. And if you have chosen a zinc mixture, you should be able to see the aura of the container.
in the dark or in the light?
You get the aura, the machines which can show the magnetic field around the human body. You should be able to see it with this one very easily. And then you find out the extent of it, and by the color you can tell if you feel, if it's near the emotional strength fields or is it near the what do you call it, physical strength.
I understand. Thank you.
Yeah,
And,
but try to create a dynamic or a spiral fields that every ring gets the same. You'll find this is a very powerful system. And if you show it to any physicist and electrician, they'll say you're crazy. You cannot put wires and get energy out of it.